the request of the Municipal Services Committee of Bronx Community Board Number 10, that the full board, through a floor motion, approve the presentation and design of the new City Island Bridge as presented by the New York City Department of Transportation.
Wait, guys. Motion to accept the resolution is read. Peter and Julian?
Yeah.
We couldn't hear you.
That's okay.
All in favor? All right, so we're going to do a roll call vote. Sorry, guys. Hannah Akapoya? Hannah?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Raquel Baez? Robert Bida?
Yes.
Laverne Burrows? Peter Cantillo?
Yes.
Colonel Chin?
Yeah.
Andrew Sharico?
Yes.
Pat Devine? Virginia Gallagher?
Yes.
Deborah Hunt?
Yes.
Rosemary LaFreri?
Yes.
Diane Locke?
Yes.
James McQuaid?
Yes.
Julian Wazowski?
Yes.
Mary Jane Lusano? Carl Niedermeyer?
Yes.
Christos Papastov? Louis Popovic? Michael Pacoli? Martin Prince?
Yes.
Michael Prohaska?
Yes.
John Robert?
Yes.
Ruben Rodriguez?
Yes.
Nancy Rosario, Bishop Nancy Rosario?
Yes.
Tony Salavine?
Yes.
Peter Sullivan?
Yeah.
Rocco Tallarico? And Desiree White?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone I didn't call? Rafael Dominguez? And Reginald Sawyer?
Yes.
Anybody else? All right. So any opposed? No. Any abstentions? No. All right. All in favor? Thanks, Bob. Thank you.
There's another resolution on the floor. Resolved at the request of the Municipal Services Committee of Bronx Community Board Number 10, that the following street activity permits be approved. Bayview Avenue, 4th End of Summer Block Party for August 30th, 2014, between the hours of noon to 9 p.m. Ferry Point Civic Association Block Park Party between noon and 9 p.m., and that this information be reported to the full board for its approval.
Motion to accept the resolution. Rocco. Second. Peter. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstention? So moved.
Next resolution, resolved at the request of the Municipal Services Committee to support the establishment of a speed bump in front of the entrance of Fort Schuyler House located at 3077 Cross Bronx Expressway, and that this information be forwarded to the full board for its approval.
Motion to accept the resolution is read.
Motion to accept.
Thank you, Diane. Second. Martin Prince. All in favor? opposed? None being opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. You ready, housing and zoning?
All right, there was no meeting this month, but a couple things. One thing was left over from last month. That's the Tremont Diner. All right, what it is an extension of the term of the existing commercial variance for 10 years. Okay, this is the Tremont Diner, 3007 East Tremont Avenue, over near Lincoln High School. All right, it's been there, I can't remember how many decades, 4 or 5, decades over there, so they needed an extension on this. So I'll read the resolution. At the request of the Housing and Zoning Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, that the full board support the extension of the term of the existing commercial variance for 10 years, expiring June 28, 2014, under BSA calendar number 88-92-BZ for 3007 East Tremont Diner.
Excuse me, 1 second. You changed, it's 2024, not 2014.
Oh, 2024, sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
The motion to accept the resolution for the 2024. Motion second, Bob. Second, Christos. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
Okay. The second thing that came up, it's been a little thorn in our side here, especially on City Island, is for the senior housing that they wanted to do over on Schofield Street. Just get that number correct. I think it's 222 City Island Avenue on the corner of Schofield. All right, this started out as being, I believe, 220 units. And the whole community was against it. Then it went, they revised it down to 65, and they still had a no-go. The community didn't want any part of it. They threatened us with everything they could think of, box stores and little commercial malls and everything else. But the community stuck to the guns, and they said no. So now this is the final offer. I've talked to Civic Association and talked to the Chamber of Commerce, and they're not going to say they're, opposing it anymore. Whatever the BSA wants to do with this last one, they'll leave it up to the BSA. But we are going to request in this resolution, if we change the resolution a little bit, that the variance be approved upon senior housing only. Okay? So what they're looking for now is to put 45 units of senior residents over here. So that's down another, I think it was 17 units. I think it was 62 the last time. And that's going to increase the parking. They're going to have a community area and everything else. So it seems to be a nicer design. It's not going to be packed in. It's not going to be assisted living. It's just going to be senior living now. And the board has always been against this for one reason. We can't see putting senior living or assisted living or anything in the flood zone. But you came back in front of us, so we have to vote on it again. All right? Ken, you want to read the resolution?
Resolved, and this is a floor resolution. Resolved at the request of the Housing and Zoning Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, that the full board approve the request for a variance allowing the construction of 45 units of senior apartments in Group Use 2 residential housing in an M1-1 manufacturing zone requested by the Italian Housing Society for 222 City Island Avenue, Bronx, New York, BSA calendar number 263-12-BZ, and this information be reported to the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals. The approval is for senior housing only. It can't, our approval of this or disapproval of this is going to be completely dependent on whether it be senior housing only. That would be the capsule to this resolution.
Motion to accept resolution as read. Marco. Second. Tony Salavine.
On question?
Your question, Kevin?
My problem with this, I know we're asking for an exception that it only be for senior housing, but I don't know that BSA has that ability once a variance is issued. So I kind of feel like this should go back to committee before we can really vote on this, because I don't think that BSA has the authority to issue a variance with that specific exception. So then I would suggest we vote no, because I don't think that's a viable option. I don't think that's a viable option to put that exception in. I don't think BSA issues variances in that way. BSA issues a variance, they're issuing a variance for the use. I don't think they can restrict it to the age. So I would recommend that we do not vote
All right, every time it came in front of the committee, they never approved hardship, which you're supposed to be able to prove your hardship. I mean, buying it off, they're buying a property. It's not that they own it, it's going to cost them a ton of money. They knew what they were getting into. So there was no hardship for this variance to increase the floor ratio or anything else. So we drew that hard line right from the beginning, and we didn't think, again, it was good to put the senior housing in a flood zone. And, you know, like Bob said, there's no way they're going to put that stipulation in against the deed. So, you know, it is what we have in front of us. But it's time sensitive. We cannot go back to committee. They are voting on it on Tuesday, right, Ken?
Tuesday.
Right, and BSA kind of told us, this is it. Whatever decision they're going to make, it's going to be the final one. They're not going to entertain hearing this again. So I'm not sure which way that was going to go, but that's how they stipulated it to us. Because they were actually supposed to vote on, what was it, the 13th, right, Ken? And we asked them to put it off 1 week for our meeting. So we can't put it back to committee anymore. We have to vote on it now. Go ahead. The committee's next. Well, I'm saying the committee's sticking to what they said before. They never proved hardship. There's no way you can lock it into senior housing. There's no reason, they never proved the hardship for the variance for the floor ratio. So that's something they never proved to us or for the City Island Civic or anything else. They are not going to oppose it anymore. That's what they said. They're not saying they're in favor, but they're not going to oppose it anymore. You know, they're leaving it up into BSA's hand. That's correct, John? Yes. So, right now it's in front of us to vote. So,
So
go ahead.
we vote no, and the BSA decides what the property.
Yes.
Okay.
So, all right. John, I'll let you take over. Any more questions before I give it back to John for the vote?
All right, so motion to accept the resolution as read. Oh.
We did that one.
So all in favor for the resolution?
If you vote in favor of the resolution, you were voting for this to go forward. Okay? The way you write the resolution, you got to always write it in favor of it. So, or else it shows that, you know, bias right from the start. Go ahead.
So if we vote no, then BSA does whatever they want. They
Right,
can-
you're all on the
Could it be something worse?
What's that?
Could they do some plan that's even?
They're gonna say, yeah, they're just gonna say yes or no to this, and that's where it's at this point. They're tired of it coming in front of them, I think, 8 times already, so they want to know whether they're gonna make a final decision on Tuesday. All right, so voting yes is voting in favor of this to be built. Voting no says no, we don't want it in our community. All right?
Does everyone understand the resolution?
And we are voting on 45 units. In your house.
You ready?
I want to make sure, because they have some other options there. We're voting on 45 units.
All right, so we're ready now.
Whether or not we approve the variance, BSA is gonna issue a variance. Okay? We want a stipulation if they do issue the variance. But we're really voting to either say, yes, we want them to give them a variance, or no, we don't. That's really what the vote is about.
That is the resolution. That's 45 units.
Right.
Right. That's what
But
it
we're voting on a variance. We're asking them to stipulate something that I don't think they can do.
is. We understand.
So, what the vote is whether or not we are in favor of giving a variance on this property. That's the bottom line. But if we do,
Use the mic.
there's no guarantees.
No guarantees.
DSA can do whatever they want. Well, yes, they do.
No. 45 units. Right.
Bob, I don't think anyone's been here. Okay.
Okay, let me just say,
Quickly, Bob.
I'll try and do this as quickly as possible. What this is it is a request for a variance for them to build 45 units in an M1 zone. They cannot build residential units the way it is now, so they need a variance. They have a proposal for 45 units. We have written into our resolution a stipulation that those 45 units be restricted to senior housing. However, I don't think BSA has the authority to restrict them. So us putting in that restriction doesn't do anything. The BSA is either going to say, yes, you can have the variance and you can build your 45 units, or no, you can't have the variance and you can't build your 45 units. Since BSA doesn't have the authority to restrict what goes into those units, then we have no say in it either. And that's why I'm asking that you vote against the variance. Thank you.
Just to clear it up again, little misinformation. Bob said that we're looking for a variance for the M1. They can get a variance to change this to residential, but then they don't have the floor ratio they want. So they're not looking for a variance or a zoning change. They're looking for use a group 2 use in M1 to change that they can build a bigger unit than they'd be allowed if they change the zoning to residential. So that's the big thing here. Right, but I just want to...
Now we got that. Come on, guys. You want to vote? All right, so motion to accept, so all in favor of the resolution as read?
Oh, maybe not.
No. So anyone in favor of the vote, of the resolution? Anyone opposed?
Yes.
Everybody? Raise your hands, everybody. Any abstentions? John Franklin. Where's the 3? Ruben Rodriguez. And Desiree White. And John Roberts. Okay. So moved. Right? Economic Development, Jim McQuaid.
The Economic Development Committee met on Wednesday, May 7th. The attending liquor license representatives introduced themselves at their establishments. They were reminded of the importance of cooperating with the community and advised to attend ATAP's training. The resolution was put forth as follows. Resolved, at the recommendation of the Economic Development Committee of Bronx Community Board 10, that the following establishments have agreed to comply with the best management practice standards contained in the stipulations by signing them and to further agree to attend ATAP training, and that their compliance be sent to the State Liquor Authority and copy placed in the board's file. Rita Family Restaurant, 3800 East Tremont Avenue, between Roosevelt and Lincoln Place, license number 1259390, which expires 5/31/14. Trinity Danish Young People's Society, 808 Dean Avenue, 10465, between Lafayette and Phillip Avenue, license number 1004611, which expired on 10/31/13, seasonal. Red Robin Burger and Brew, 200 Baychester Avenue, number 18B, between Bartow Avenue and the Hutch license, it's a new license. 7 Soul, 3789 East Tremont Avenue, between Roosevelt Avenue and Lamport Place, license number, that's also known. Havana Cafe, Satellite Building, section number 7, Orchard Beach, 10464, license number 1256270, which expired on 11/30/13, that's seasonal. Havana Cafe, Satellite Building, section number 10, Orchard Beach, 10464, license number 1262612, which expired on 11/30/13, that's seasonal. Havana Cafe, Satellite Building, section number 5, Orchard Beach, 10464, license number 1262613, which expired on 11/30/13, that's seasonal. Split Rock Golf Course, 870 Shore Road, 10464, between Orchard Beach Road and Roosevelt Place, license number 1205513, which expires on 6/30/14. And Yamada Japanese Restaurant, 3811 East Tremont Avenue, 10465, between Schley Avenue and Lamport Place, license is a new license. All renewal licenses were approved unanimously by the committee. Do you vote now?
Yeah.
Do you vote now? No, this is reps from the Red Robin. They're coordinating their opening with the opening of Macy's Mall at the end of the summer. They assured the committee that they would be hiring locally, and process would begin between 5 weeks before the restaurant opening. They will have signs in front of the store, have it posted on their website, and advise the board of it. They also said that the store manager is a local resident. So that is hiring. Yes, the Red Robin, yeah. But I read the list.
Okay, so let's vote.
Vote for the right. And also, I have an addendum to this. Board member Ruben Rodriguez recused himself from the vote regarding the manufacturer.
All right, so motion to accept the resolution as read.
Motion to accept.
Bob, second. Virginia Gallagher. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So moved.
One refusal.
And one motion.
There was a brief discussion on the potential traffic problems that might occur with the 3 new malls and the golf course scheduled to open, and that the board office is the only agency that has submitted a viable traffic plan that should be considered. The committee was made aware that the governor's office called to request that the use of the borough office for about 2 days a week in the coming months to conduct job outreach. The Bronx was identified as a high unemployment area. The Labor Department will conduct job incentives concerning recruitment, training, and placement for Bronxites. Also, Councilman Bradford requested use of the board office to reach out to small businesses and merchants to bring services of the New York City Small Business Services to them in the form of outreach, assessment, and assistance services. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation, Virginia Gallagher. Guys, as short as possible, Virginia.
Of course, we gotta get out of here. Actually, my Parks Committee meeting is very instructive and everything else. There is one very important thing, and that is Ferry Point Park West will be holding a Support Our Park Day, and they're going to have lots of rides and things like that over there. Ferry Point Park West is over west of the Bronx Whitestone Bridge, and they have a lot of fun. We're trying to get more basketball into Orchard Beach. We're hopeful we'll be able to get it. There is a line in the capital budget, and we have our eye on it. The buildings, landmark buildings are safe. The architects will be looking out to make them safer, and the use that would be contemplated here. So anyhow, that is my Parks Committee meeting, and we have a lot. I can see I always listen to the board when he's right.
That's a bit love, Virginia. Let's see if we can do back to back. Planning and budget, Julian.
We didn't meet this month because we swapped dates with Debbie Hunt, who had a commencement. So we're supposed to meet maybe next week if we've got a big agenda. If we've got a small agenda, we'll meet in June.
So you're done.
That's it.
Thank you, Julian. Moving right along. Bob, you do it.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know, Mike. No, the youth committee is going to be meeting on May 19th. We're going to be doing a tour of the Throgs Neck houses, Kids Bay Boys and Girls Club Youth Center there at 550 Gotham Avenue, 6:30 in the evening. Please, if you're interested in some of the youth programs, come out and join us. Again, it's May 19th, 6:30 at 550 Gotham Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Deborah Hunt, Health and Human Services.
That's 1 minute, Deborah.
It all started.
With you.
Back in the day. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we met last night, thanks to Julian. My baby's graduating next week. So we had a great meeting, actually. Montefiore came, Alexis Wendell, and he will be attending all of our meetings with one of the medical site directors. He'll come either to the Health and Human Services or the board office, the full board meeting, to discuss issues and their progress. And they are working on a plan for overcrowding, and so we're eager to see what that is. They're sending out some information about urgent care. We've asked them to develop a little blurb about when it might be best to use urgent care versus the emergency department. So he said he would work on that with one of his medical directors. Mr. Anthony Brommel also came. He was supposed to be at Virginia's meeting, but he thought that we were doing some exciting things, so he came to us. And it worked out well, actually, because he shared information about some exercise programs and maps with the new bike paths that are here somewhere, if you want to take one. And then the exciting thing, for us anyway, and I think you'll all be too, is that we are going to have a health challenge in the community board 10 area, and we are very excited about it. We know that obesity, heart disease, and diabetes affect all of us at some point in our lives, and we really need to get the Bronx healthy. So we're going to have, we're still in planning process, but we made some great progress last night. We have a tentative kickoff date for September 20th in Pelham Bay Park with the hike. We're going to try to get the urban rangers to possibly guide the hike. Montefiore is totally committed to working with us. Jacoby Medical Center is committed to working with us. The City Parks Department is committed, and I'm sure a lot of other people will be too. We're going to ask, I think she's been asked already, I won't name her name, but someone to develop a Facebook page for us. She knows who she is. So it's going to be a very voluntary, participatory challenge. So we're going to have a Facebook page. Anybody in the community board area is welcome to sign up and share their goals, recipes, successes, challenges, and we think it's going to be a great thing. We're going to try to get some donations for pedometers and possibly water bottles, and it's going to grow. So we're very excited, and we also, shared a lot of ideas. I'll see if my group members want to share anything, but we said once we have the main kickoff walk, then each area, because we are big, may want to do some other things. So we thought, like with the indoor mall being built in Co-op City, may be a great place for indoor walking, especially when the weather gets inclement. So if you have any suggestions, comments, please send them, I guess, through the board office, and we'll be happy to entertain them. We'll have a meeting next month, and we'll continue to talk about it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Virginia Gallagher, Nomination Committee.
First of all, I'd like to thank the committee, Mr. Baez and Mr. Sullivan for their assistance in this. The following members of Board 10 have been nominated for office. Chairperson, and I might add that the names are in alphabetical order. Chairperson, Julian Mazursky, Martin Prince. First Vice Chair, John Morano, Tony Salabene. Second Vice Chair, Diane Mark. Treasurer, Carl Nettermeyer. Secretary, Peter Cantillo. The nominations will be accepted at the, I could ask for nominations today at the May meeting, so if anybody has anybody they want to suggest, speak out, or forever hold your peace. Any new nominations?
Motion to close the nominations.
Someone nominating a second vice, not first. I believe it was the Goldstein, and it was the one nominating a second, not first.
No, they said second, I'll show you the list.
Second.
Yeah.
You just read them as first. Is
Second vice. In any event, I'll show you the letter, that's the best one. Okay, the election will take place at the June meeting. There are no nominations at this May meeting. The new officers will take their titles and their responsibilities beginning July the 1st,
You got 5 minutes, guys.
Now, the other thing is, there was one board member who suggested that the slate remain the same. That is my report.
Slightly what? I don't know.
I asked.
I have no idea what you said.
Thank you, Jimmy. Okay, any old business, guys, ladies? New business? Oh, old business? New business. Any old business? No. New business. Yeah, right.
Actually, I just want to mention, I don't think you can mind. Can everybody hear me?
No, no.
How's everybody doing? I'll make this real quick because I know we have 5 minutes. I actually just wanted to give the 45th Precinct a huge shout out and thank you as a country club resident. Recently, I had read an article in the Bronx Times about cars that were being vandalized. Unfortunately, in the last 2 weeks, I was one of them. I had my iPad stolen. Don't ask me why I left it in the car, but it was storming that night and I ran out. All right, so I know there was some negligence on my part for that. But I will tell you, from the time I reported it at 4:30 in the morning to the time that they were actually able to retrieve it, because that's it, right on my chair, it was approximately 6.5 hours that I got my iPad back. And I'm going to tell you, it was, and please applaud them. Absolutely applaud them. I just wanted to say, that was like my 21 Jump Street moment in my life, because they needed me to get into our car and go over there, claim the property. So again, they do a phenomenal job, and I just think anytime that happens, they should definitely be duly noted. So I wanted to make sure it showed up in our report. Okay, thank you.
Any other business? Motion to close the meeting? Bob and Rocco, I'm sure, very happy. Thank you, everyone.